Looks like we got some old school Corv bombers with S2Hs with presumably Cork, and they might even be AMM dodging Cork. Oh yeah, that's AMM dodging Cork, or it's intended to be. I've got an angle getting got. Team 1ANS, Team 2 OSP, Kalmia, Quinta Bean, Highball, and Quiz. They are Cosmic Express. They're facing down Crow, Captain Chaos, Mungo Parker, and Dramus. Rides the Black Horse. We had a good little match last time on Honeycomb. It unfolded, unfortunately, as so many Honeycomb games do. Blood Moon's a little more of an interesting map right now, though. You don't have very much in the way of common lanes. People play it, but it hasn't been played to death like some of the other more borderline stock maps, such as Honeycomb and Yukon. And I am looking forward to this, right? The Cosmic Express won the last game. So I am rooting for Riders of the Black Horse this game, because I want to see 3 matches. Also, the third match will be on Bulwark Heavy Industries, the Buppy map. And I do enjoy games on that map as well, for similar reasons as I enjoy games on Blood Moon. They always unfold in interesting and unexpected ways. Looks like ANS is spread out. They aren't just giving up any points. Man, OSP, Riders of the Black Horse doing the same thing they did last time, giving up one side and focusing on the other. Which I do think is a bit of a mistake. I think no contesting aside just allows a shit capper to run in and grab the point. And that's not the best idea. Now, Secret Mink has a great idea for maps. Okay, we've dropped down here with the OSP team. Let's stop digging around with chat and start going through the fleets. Got Dramus playing Cat Fleet. Looks like he's playing more ships. Oh, what the fuck is going on over there? Okay. We got 1, 2, 3, 2 gun shuttles, 3 nearly naked capping shuttles, 1 Towels tug with an MLS-2 as well. I guess it's an arsenal tug. Another torpedo arsenal tug. And a... what are you? 250 bulker. Lincoln F. Stern. 1 moving violation. Is this the fucking... This is the courtroom scene from that fucking movie that Tramis got me to watch. Really funny, by the way. I cannot remember the name of the movie, unfortunately. Mongo's got 2 450 bulkers, booty retriever, and you wouldn't download a boat. Pirate FM LRT tug. Captain Chaos and Crow both rocking Ocellos. Chaos with double 450s. Crow with 1 railgun and 1 450. Chaos of aim. Quiz. Double levy. Gotta be spam toes. Oh, no. Not spam toes. He's got bombers on 1. He's got bombers on both. And a shitload of Tontos as well. Looks like no sensors, though, out of this. Yeah, you can't with that kind of a build. Oh, boy. OSP is gonna have it in the craft party again. Quinto, double 450 Axfords. Point defense all around. Highball also bringing a 450 Axford. A little bit of greed going on here with the Oxide, though. 120s on the sides. Highball also supported by 2 rail destroyers. And 1 Pinard gun sprinter for detection's sake. Call me a rock in the Cat Fleet with some missile sprinters No ballistics on any of these sprinters, actually, just missiles. And the Cringe Getter. Team Destroyer for covering points. LSP has moved on to the map. They're going after Bravo, they're going after Charlie, and they're going after their own natural, of course. Completely abandoning Alpha. Gonna hand it over to Jail Isn't Real, which is a great name. Will Torp for Cap. Boink. Getting a little bit of damage on that Charlie Capper. Like the 450 SLOs. Oh my. The 450 everything on the Bravo side of the map, annihilating the sprinter that has gone over here. Beam doing the same to the shuttles. Looks like OSP gets that Charlie cap. Anus is probably going to get that Alpha cap. There is, yeah, this is just no contest. Yeah, I think the no craft, like, I understand it. I know there's people that don't really like playing with the planes just because of the micro. They very much prefer the big ships. But in current state of the game, you just have to have the planes. Crafts are so incredibly fucking powerful right now that Vastol had to limit them. Only 3,000 points of craft per team. Which basically means one player can bring airplanes, one player can bring carriers and their assets, and no one else can. Third map is Bulwark. Made by one Buppy. This Axford is okay. See, this is the thing about the big 450 blob though. If you're smart and you target fire shit, it's gonna start dying real fast. This Axford isn't at risk of dying just yet, but it has taken a ton of damage, and I don't think it's dealt almost anything in return. Yeah, not really. The Booty Retriever has received a little bit of damage in its booty, and that's about it. Yeah, I think that's right, DXB. We've got two wings of Tontos out on the map, one up top, one down below, although I guess I wouldn't call this a wing. This is just a pair. Not even a squadron. Big blob of Tontos up here, hanging out on the Charlie point, ready to cover those Axfords that are pushing really hard into the middle of the map. Yeah, Alpha side, nothing going on. All the action's going to be over here once more. It's very similar to the Honeycomb game. Right as the Black Horse is taking their big old blob of guns and pushing it forward. This time they do have the upfront damage. There we go. That's a well-built Axford. Whip, double raider. A little harder to fuck up 450 bulkers, ironically, than it is for Axfords. You don't have to have any particular drive setup. Big bastards can't dodge. What is the 3K of carrier rule? Okay, so each team can only have 3,000 points of carrier. That's it. It's really simple. which effectively means you have one carrier player. It's to prevent. So the reason for this is because where is it? It's in. Oh, sorry, I can't read. I'm illiterate. Reading comprehension comes from us all. In the end, my apologies, Sammy. It's in one of the channels for the rules that just got added. It might have been in specifically the setup channel for this series of games. It might not have been put in the main rules channel. But yeah, it came about because the skirmish games... Wow, it's a graveyard over here. There was a skirmish game, and it was basically 9,000 points of carriers versus 9,000 points of carriers. The game was unplayable. Because before that, there was a skirmish game where it was 9,000 points of carriers versus not 9,000 points of carriers, and it completely fucking crushed. Spam quite good. Spam quite good. I have... You know, a part of me is glad to see it because there was... I was starting to get a little concerned that no one was going to play carriers because after the initial hype wore off, the general attitude was, oh, this is too much micro. I don't want to deal with this. I have to pay attention to what I'm doing, and I have to do sensors and combat and cruise missiling all at the same time, basically, and it's hard. So a lot of people just stopped. So I'm glad enough people are playing them that we're running into issues like this to solve. Yeah, I think Backpack Craft would be fine, but it's dedicated carriers that are banned. Or limited, rather. Yeah, limited. SP now getting shape onto that alpha point, but ANS is a really strong presence over here. And these sprinters can just creep slowly around the backside of the map and get into the echo point. And also play bomber fuck games. Looks like we got some old school Corv bombers with S2Hs with presumably Cork, and they might even be AMM dodging Cork. Oh yeah, that's AMM dodging Cork, or it's intended to be. I've got an angle getting got. Like the Acellos are turning around, or one set of Acellos are turning around to try and deal with that. But damn, that is expensive. That's a Torp Tug. I don't think it shot off any of its torpedoes. Nope. Not a single one. Mucho expensivo. Oh, I love carriers. They're easily my favorite part of the game right now, and they have been since release. I've been playing almost nothing else. And it's actually a problem when I want to try to play with people who know what they're doing. Like in pubs, it's fine. You just spam that shit. Who cares? But when people are like trying to have a real team comp and multiple people want to play carriers, I'm like, well, I haven't played anything else in a few months, so I'm just bad. At least not to any serious degree. Man, look at that Tonto blob down there on the echo side of the map. They are providing a little bit of support for Malice Squadron here. Armed to the gills with torpedoes. Launches Monster Hunter again. Yeah, we've also been playing a lot of not Neb on the Coliseum. Well, at least Micro and Corbeau have. It's been nice being chill with things. I'm doing a great job of casting this game, by the way, just kind of yammering on about all the bullshit that's going on in my online life and not actually paying attention to what's happening. Well, to be fair, oh my god, these Axfords are kissing! Look at them! Look at them, they're in love, oh my goodness! And, which is a good thing, too, because they're both being railed in the face. And I mean that in every sense of the word. Here by the Hypoxic girl. booty retriever has not been able to retrieve much booty and is getting his booty blasted by the 450 and the rails. I do think it's cool to see both teams whipping out the rail support. And mass drivers continue to be very unloved, though. Still really hard to get work done with those. Modest Demon and Cocky Angel coming around the backside here, getting shape on that echo point. I think they're going to have a hard time dealing with the Tug and Shuttle team, though. That's jamming and S2s and 100 mil out of a C30. Very dangerous. ANS winding up the same position that we saw ANS wind up on Honeycomb last time, where they're all kind of balled up here in the middle of the map. Not that spread out. This is risky. If OSP storms into this, they could just start crushing because there's no beam backups. It really comes down to whether or not those bombers can get some good kills out early. OSP's got more raw mass. Looks like Dramus is trying desperately to defend the backside of the map and is even might be pushing for that alpha point. Quite risky. Opens himself up to some bombing. Oh, not the skiff. It lands there on Hanover Fist. One moving violation. Really funny movie. I wish I could think of its name. Like Fantasia, but for metal. Made in the 80s. It's quite good. Bit of a Tonto engage over here. It looks like these are pure ASF. 15 coil guns, or 12 coil guns, 15mm coil guns. And they make space for those bombers to get in, and that's a Torp Strike on an Ocello, which is quite effective. We missed most of it because I was busy watching the fighters fly around like a clown. Man, it's hard sometimes to tell where the fighters begin and the bombers end. Or whatever, one of those. Be nice if they had like a border around them, so that way the silhouettes don't bleed together like this. I don't know what the hell's happening over here. Like a little dark blue border for ANS and a little dark orange border for OSP. That's how AI War gets away with stacking up silhouettes like that. These borders would be nice. Just a thought. ANS clipping off more of OSP's capping assets with the bombing team. Didn't even catch that these were Corv bombers originally. It makes sense now, and OSP's everything they have is over on the Bravo and the Charlie point, and they don't even have control of Charlie. Hyperoxic Boy gonna head into the point here, but unfortunately Alone is going to eat a ton of 450 from these Axfords at point blank range. That is true. But I mean, if AI War is doing it better, then, you know, maybe something should change. It's not an issue on the big ships, right? Because they're always so far apart that you can pretty easily tell where the silhouettes are. But with the craft having all their silhouettes on top of each other, I think a little bit of extra visual clarity through something like a border would be quite helpful. Oh yeah, the Balcon posts. Hyperoxic Boy will win this. Everybody knows this intuitively. With the support from the Ocellos and two of the Bulkers moving their own guns up and firing down into this Charlie point, They're able to mess up the HTDO-able. I'm sure that means something, but I don't know what it could be. Oh, is that a cello firing on a visual track? Because those rounds are going extremely wide. Hard to displace object. Okay. Yeah, he's got to be firing on a visual track. Just pause fire, you clown. Might be pause firing, honestly. This team's going after Barracuda. Man. ANS fleet really, really ready to roll on the craft gaming, and OSP did not bring it. Eating 8 ton of 450, and it's going to start diving into the hole of the moon here. Fire order tooltip. Can you actually read? Hold on, wait a minute. Yeah. Good to know. I didn't realize it would specify on the tooltip that it was being fired at a track. I have never actually read those. Uh-oh, by a cello. Bombers are here, and your friends are not. No, that's not dead. But any 450 follow-up will annihilate this thing. Yeah. Would have been real awkward if some of those torps drifted into Quinto. Yeah, it is very similar to the last game. Just kind of disappointing. Charlie Point still in ANS's hands. Looks like another Acello is being thrown up onto the sacrificial altar here. Got a bunch of 100 mil flak being fired at the Oxide. Just does no damage. Probably doesn't matter because I don't think the 100 mil would be enabled by just the bullet holes in this thing. Oh, for sure. Like, if they're not confident with carriers, obviously just bringing them out in a panic would be a bad decision. But I remember they discussed getting better with carriers and trying to bring them in future tournament games either last week or the week before. You're seeing what people were doing with carriers, and then it never crystallized. Now that they're getting to the point where they're fighting the other great teams, not bringing carriers in the current era is just not going to work out very well. If their opponents are bringing carriers. Echo Point is open, and Kami is going to dive onto that. Looks like there's not really anything in range to cover it, so ANS is going to take that 4-1 capping advantage. They are 100 points down, so that's not going to immediately run them away with the game, but that is going to close that gap. OSP not able to secure the Charlie side of the map. Hard to displace object here, living up to its name. Moricello's getting fed to the point and burned down to almost nothing by the surrounding fire from the Axford teams. Fringegood are going for the Echo Point, or going for the Bravo Point, rather. Straight out. Looks like Stern not able to defend that. I'm not sure if this is a tracking issue or what. It's just having trouble getting aimed. Yeah, there it goes. Wow. All of those missed. Yeah, so it must have been having some tracking problems. We have been daylight savings gamed just a little bit here. Now it's Chaos' turn to die on the Charlie point. I understand the team needing caps, but going up and dying, all three of these Acellas going up and dying in the exact same place in the exact same way seems like a pretty colossal mistake. I think part of the problem is this team, again, doesn't have any sensors. They have no sensor presence, so they can't see where the ANS team is and then go where they're not. Like, if those Capitals would have just retreated off of Delta, gone down to the bottom of the map, and tried to play around the backside, they probably could have gotten a lot more done than single filing into the Charlie point. But you can't know what your opponent has and where they are if you don't have the sensor assets. I don't know where your opponents are to capitalize on them. Yeah, that's true too. All the S2H bombers gutted. OSP's capping assets. Now the Capitals have to be the capping assets, and they're being used like capping assets, but unfortunately when you're using your Capitals to cap points, they have to play very differently than capture assets do. Now Rail's pulling a ton of weight on both matches. ANS now has that 4-1 cap lead. OSP running out of assets real fast. Stern and boat are extant. The boat's pretty fucked up. The rest of these cells are ruined. We'll need a couple decades of dry dock to heal up. Mento and Highball bruised but not broken. Not on the slightest. This guy is... I think he got 2 Torp strikes. And that's all they really needed. Because having no sensor presence is kind of a problem. Meanwhile, ANS, Tommy doing a really good job with the spy frigs and the corvettes being thrown all over the map to get that sensor coverage. I'd like to note that when people talk about rails never being balanced, they're specifically talking about the Mark 81 on ANS capital ships, and not the rail destroyers. Or even the rail Acellas. I think we're kind of at the tail end of this game. ANS just needs to mop up. And that quite effectively. Somebody ban that guy. Yeah, ANS lost 2 sprinters. Planes. LSP has lost almost everything. The extremely one-sided match. And then that was mostly down to decision making at the strategic level. Alright. To Discord. Hop into Peanut Gallery.
Hello, hello.
No.
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 Very nice.
No hellos. Not today.
You sound sad. What's wrong?
It's just kind of a disappointing game.